Hey guys, and welcome to the ultimate guide to getting started with women and dating. I'm Coach Omir, and what you will learn in this guide is where and how to get started with women and dating if you're just starting out. You're going to learn what to focus on and what to ignore. You're also going to learn the 3 levels of progress that you will experience in your journey of becoming good with women. And you will learn the biggest mistakes that most guys make when they're just starting out that makes them quit demotivated, right? And the final thing is you're going to learn what you're really up against because there's a big enemy inside of you that stops most guys from ever achieving success with women. So why this guide? Why have I created this guide? Well, guys talk about not knowing where to start and how to go about all of this. So when they think about getting success with women, they just don't know where to start. So I created a new no BS explanation of how to get good with women. So the process, I've outlined the process. This is not the technique or the steps, but I've outlined the overall general process of what you need to do to become good with women. Now here's one thing to understand. More information means more confusion. So more information means more confusion. Instead of going online and searching for new information on how to succeed with women, you need to find the right information. Because the more information you get into your head, the less you'll know. You'll be more confused and you'll just end up not knowing what to do next. So I wanted to create something that would give you the outline of the entire journey, not just a cool tactic or a technique. Because again, that creates more confusion. Lastly, action versus information. Action is what makes it done. Information is just like I call it mind masturbation, right? You just watch videos or you read about it, but you never do anything. Action is really where everything happens. So I want to introduce to you this one concept called World 1 versus World 2. I want you to imagine for a moment that you are already successful with women. Okay? Imagine you can start and keep a conversation, you can attract them, you can get their number, everything is easy. I want you to breathe the way you'd be breathing. I want you to have the same face expression. I want you to hold your body the way you'd be holding it if you were already successful with women. Now notice how easy it is for you to feel that. Because you have just tapped into World 2. Okay, so if you just pretend, okay, I'm good with women. How would I feel? How would I behave? How would I hold my body? How would I feel, what would the expression of my face be? If you just think about it, you can instantly know, right? And that's because there is a part of you called World 2 inside that already has success. You already know how to be good with women. But there are obstacles standing in your way of you allowing that to be unleashed in the world. So, as I said, you already have the knowledge that you want and need inside of you. But you have limitations that stand in your way of living that world. So what are the limitations? Well, the limitations are stuff like deserving issues, self-esteem, past experiences, limiting beliefs. Your entire journey, your entire journey of succeeding with women is going from World 1 to World 2. That's it. You, at this moment, you are at the World 1. But you need to move to World 2. And to get there, you just need to remove some of the things that are stopping you from getting there. Now here's some realities or some reality checks. I see a lot of guys kind of being delusional or confused about how, what it really takes to succeed with women in dating. Here's the first one. Becoming good with women takes time. Okay, it really takes time. Now, it doesn't take years and years and years. It does take time, but it doesn't happen overnight, okay? Success with women will not happen with some magical technique or some, magical process that's just going to transform you into the kind of guy you want. It takes time. It will not happen overnight. The more you expect it to happen overnight, the less progress you'll actually make. Okay, the more you expect it to happen overnight, the less progress you will actually make because you'll be impatient, you won't do what's necessary to do, you'll be like, oh, why am I doing this? Why am I learning this? This is, bullshit, give me a new technique. So the more you expect it to happen overnight, the less progress you'll make. Here's a quote I want you to use in the process of becoming good with women. Go slow and you will go fast. Okay? Go slow and you will go fast. I want you to commit at least 6 months of focused learning and practicing, more if you're doing it alone. I know this is a harsh reality and maybe discouraging to you, but I see it as encouraging because you know that it takes you about 6 months to get good at this. Now think about how important this is for you in your life, how important it is for you to become good with women. Now think about it, is it worth 6 months? Now, it's not 6 months where you're like sleeping with it. Just 6 months you're kind of keeping it on the mind. You're doing some exercises maybe every second day. It's not that much work, but it takes some time. But here's the biggest trick. Here's the biggest kind of realization that I had. It's worth it. It is definitely worth it, because after that time, after you invest that time and you become the kind of person that can go out and attract any woman that he wants, you get to keep it for the rest of your life. And guess what? Everybody in your life is affected by it. It's, people around you, your brothers, your sisters, your mom and dad. You become a different person. Your friends see you differently. You have more respect. You dress differently. You even get a different job or a better job. You have more career success. You get more money because you've developed yourself. So it's definitely worth it. It's a life transformational process. So if you're interested in this, if your heart got pulled into this direction, I want to encourage you and say, hey, I was there where you are right now, and I know how you feel, and I'm telling you, it's worth it. All the pain, all the struggle that you need to go through is definitely worth it. I want to talk about the 4 challenges that you need to deal with in order to really get good in this area. There are only 4 challenges you need to get kind of resolve or solve to have success in this area. Number 1 is starting a conversation. And what's stopping you here is your approach anxiety. It's what to say, where to go, right? So it's just this start of a conversation. You see a girl, you would like to say something, but you can't. Either you're in a club, you're in a coffee shop, you're on the street, she's walking, she's so beautiful. You'd like to say something, but it's like, she'll brush me off. I won't say anything. So starting a conversation is your first challenge. That's what you need to deal. Click it away and you will go into the next challenge, which is once you start a conversation, you need to learn how to keep the conversation going. So what to say specifically, how to say it, how to be interesting and not boring, how to not chase her away, right? So how to keep that conversation going. And the third challenge that you need to resolve is how to create attraction. So how to avoid the friend zone, how to show interest to her, how to show her that you want to be more than just a friend, how to create that tension and sparks between you, how to create that chemistry. So that's the third stage. And the fourth stage, the fourth challenge you need to overcome is leading to the next level. And leading to the next level, I call this whatever fits into from meeting a girl to leading to the next level, which could be getting her number, setting up a date with her, kissing her for the first time, leading things all the way to the bedroom. These are your top four challenges, and I would recommend you write them down and just look at them every now and then, because if you resolve these challenges, if you can handle these challenges, you will have success with women, period. Now, there's a lot to do in order to be able to do that, but as you'll see in a minute, I'll show you the process. But these are the 4 challenges you need to overcome. That's it. So here are the common mistakes to avoid in this journey of becoming good with women. I've collected some of the most common mistakes that I've seen guys do, and I want to show it to you so you know what to avoid. Number 1 is reading all the material out there to know it all before diving in. This actually means reading and watching, listening, podcasts, YouTube videos. I see it, many guys, they become an expert on the subject without actually doing it. So, they would watch hundreds and hundreds of YouTube videos. They would know the names of the biggest gurus. They would know the books, but they would not have the implementation. They would have everything in their mind, but they wouldn't do anything. And action speaks louder than words. And as a consequence, you will become very critical of yourself because you'll be aware of all the mistakes you're doing while you're trying to do it. So when you go out and you want to start a conversation with a girl, you'll know the right way, in quotes, to do it. And you'll see a girl and you'll say, okay, I want to go there and start a conversation with her. But a part of you is going to go, well, I'm not ready yet, and I don't have the right mindset, and I'm not in the right state. You will know so much, so you'll be much more aware of the mistakes. So this is what I call going too far in your mind before you actually went there with your body. Okay, going too far in your mind before you actually went there in your body. I want to introduce you something like a powerful concept, and that is ignorance equals bliss. You probably know this already. Better to know less and use it than to know too much and not use it. Because as I said, when you know too much, you're going to avoid taking action because now you're aware of all the mistakes that you can do. So you can get in the perfectionism trap. It's like, okay, I want to start a conversation with her, and I want to make the conversation perfect, like in the textbooks, right? So as this guru said, this is what I need to do. I need to approach her. I need to drop the right line with the right energy, with the right confidence. Everything needs to be perfect. And then I need to keep the conversation going and create attraction. Everything, you have this perfectionist attitude towards this, and this will all stop you from ever, achieving any success. You will create what's called the ideal inside of you. Ideal of an approach, ideal of a conversation, ideal of a kissing. But one thing to understand about ideals is that they're not real. They're nice to read in the textbooks, but when it comes to actually going out and doing it, there's a lot of mistakes that happen. And what I call big meals or good meals are made in messy kitchens. When you see, Jamie Oliver come out with, splendid dish, and it looks so nice on the plate, but go to the kitchen and you'll see the mess that he created, right? So I want to give you a couple of examples of going too far in your mind before actually going there in your body. So the first one is reading advanced books on attraction and seduction without actually approaching and talking to girls. This is critical. So buying all the books out there and diving into them to know it all before you start a conversation with a girl. Studying seduction without having basic social skills. So a guy, I'll talk with a guy and he'll say, yeah, that's how you seduce a girl, whatever. And he can't even start a conversation with the guy behind a bar because he's so antisocial. So having basic social skills handled is the prerequisite to being able to be good with women. So I call this running away from the real pain to make illusionary gain. So running away from the real pain to make illusionary gain. Because it's more painful to walk to a club or a coffee shop or on a street and start a conversation with a girl than it is to read a book on seduction or dating women. Right? Because when you go out and you want to start a conversation, you get the pain, but you don't feel like you've made much progress. So books are like a safe ground where you can go to enjoy, to feel like you're advancing and you're gaining knowledge and everything, but you're really not. You're just accumulating information in your mind, and that information becomes like a big pile of mud that you don't do anything with it. So you're probably trying to distract yourself with knowledge. I have a question for you. What is learning? What is learning? So if you think about it, most guys will say, well, learning is knowing information or getting information. If you read something and you get a new information, you learn something. Well, learning is actually not about accumulating information or knowledge. Learning is about changing behavior. If you haven't changed your behavior, you haven't learned anything. So if you haven't changed your behavior, you haven't learned anything. If you've read hundreds of books on seduction, but if that hasn't changed your behavior in the real world, you have wasted hundreds of hours. Okay? Information does not equal learning. So I want to give you a scale of how much learning, in quotes, versus doing you should be doing in your process of becoming good with women. So it goes something like this: 80% of doing and 20% of learning. So you spend 20% watching videos reading books, reading articles online, spending time on forums, asking questions, and 80% of the time you should be spending on doing it, on actually being out and starting conversations with women. So the right approach to this, there are a couple of steps. Step number one is pinpoint your first challenge. If you want to become good with women, start with pinpointing your first challenge. Now this can be approaching a woman, keeping the conversation going, creating attraction, or getting her number. Okay, so some guys can approach a woman, but they can't keep a conversation going. Some can start a conversation, keep it going, but they end up in the friend zone. Some can do everything and feel the attraction with the girl, but they just can't get her number. Okay, so find out what is your first challenge. Step number two, start with your first challenge and don't move to the next challenge until you have tackled it. So if it's approach anxiety that's a problem for you, start there and don't move forward. Don't start learning about anything else until you have tackled your approach anxiety. And step number three, once you have tackled the challenge, now you can move to your next challenge. So you see how this is different from, burying your nose in books and videos and just skipping to make illusionary gain, running from real pain, right? So when you discover your first challenge, work on it. Once you're done, move to the next challenge. So let me give you an example of this. So you may say, well, my first challenge is I can't approach a woman and start a conversation with her. Step number two is you deal with approach anxiety. You learn ways of starting a conversation. You learn how to go out and actually learn to start a conversation easily. And once you've dealt with approach anxiety and learning how to start a conversation, you move to the next challenge, which can be keeping a conversation going or creating attraction. Okay. So let me talk about reading books and videos, watching videos. First off, I want to mention only read books and watch videos that deal with your next challenge. So if approach anxiety is your first challenge, then just watch videos and read resources that deal with approach anxiety. If your first challenge is starting or keeping a conversation going, then watch and immerse yourself only in that information. Don't skip steps, again, because you'll want to distract yourself with running from pain for illusionary gain. You'll fall for the trick of the mind. I want to invite you not to do this. Avoid distracting yourself with stuff that you don't need. So an example of this is you start working on your approach anxiety, but you can't seem to handle it. So you move to the next interesting thing, which is creating attraction, escalation ladder, whatever, right? So don't do that. Don't get blinded by the shiny marketing and cool videos. This is also called the shiny object syndrome, right? So, there's something more interesting. Let me jump into it and let me watch this video. Let me tackle this issue, and then you debate with people on forums. I see these guys all the time. Just don't do that. Don't be one of those, okay? Don't be weak. You are strong. I believe in you. You need to believe in yourself as well. Stay focused. Stay focused on the topic. So here's something I've developed over the course of a few years, and that is inner game, outer game, and action game. As you're going through this process, I want you to combine inner game, outer game, and action game. So what are those? Well, outer game are your skills or the how-to. It's the how do you start a conversation with a girl? How do you keep it going? What do you say? What do you say to make a conversation interesting, creating attraction, right? So it's the skill set. It's the how-to. Inner game is your confidence. It's your understanding of women. It's your growth, right? Your inner growth, your mindset, your attitude. It's the inner world that you need to deal with. Well, action game is a term that I came up with. And action game are your actions that you take on a consistent basis. And this is literally a game, right? Just like you have inner game and you learn about confidence, and you have outer game and you learn about skills. Action game is where you learn about doing it. How to make yourself to do it. So there's a cool diagram that I have for you. So inner game, confidence, mindsets, attitude. Outer game, technique, skills, and how to. And action game, plan of action, doing it. Okay, so you need to learn to do it. So there's actually an art and a science to implementing what you learn, implementing the information that you gather. So I want to give you a recommendation, that is to get support, because it's going to be hard to do this alone. So get some help. You have support groups on forums. There's a lot of them on Facebook. Although I have to be honest, I haven't found many of them that would be of quality, except some of them that I lead because I'm personally there, and I have people that answer questions and support guys. But other than that, I don't know. But check it out. Maybe there are some that you like. Get a wingman. Somebody who's going to go out with you and do approaches with you and talk with women, actually talk with women. But be careful about this. I've seen a lot of guys get wingmans that are not qualified. They're the typical example of illusionary gain and avoiding the real world pain, because some of them have convinced themselves, like the ego comes out, right? It's like, yeah, I know this, right? I know this. I know what I'm doing, even though he doesn't, right? So find somebody who's good at this, or who's, at least if he's not good at this, he's willing to learn. He's really open about learning. So for example, if he's watching this with you and he says, yeah, good stuff, we need to do something about it, that's the real wingman. But if he's like, yeah, I know this, have you watched this video on escalation ladder, whatever, get rid of that. Stay with those who are really truly willing to learn. So another way to support yourself is get programs that lead you through the entire process. There are programs out there. One of them is 4 Core program, which is a program I created that helps guys, that leads them through everything, really. From learning about fear and dealing with fear and approaching anxiety, and developing confidence, developing the mindset and attitude of inner game, learning about attraction, and then giving them the entire skill set. But maybe there's a program that you like as well. Get some support. If this is something you want to do, I would definitely recommend it. Another thing is group coaching. When you get on a call with the coach and there's like 10 other guys, you guys ask questions and he answers them. Very good. Mainly because these groups, these coaching groups help you get focused or stay focused on the subject. You don't deviate, you don't forget. Life doesn't come in between of your journey, because 3 to 6 months is, kind of long time. So, a month in, you may say, well, I found something more interesting. So group coaching kind of keeps you accountable. And the best way is really if you get a one-on-one coaching. So somebody who's going to work with you one-on-one, I think this is the best way, because that person is going to hold you accountable, really accountable. You're going to have, daily steps and weekly missions and everything. So one-on-one coaching is really powerful. It is, financially, there is an investment to one-on-one coaching, so not every guy can afford it. But if you're in a position that, even if this is not something you can totally afford, it's probably something you may want to consider, because this is probably the most powerful way of becoming good with women. Although these other resources also work, but this is definitely the most powerful. Maybe in combination with some, maybe a program and one-on-one coaching and a good wingman. So stack up these resources so you get better at this quicker. Here's the next thing. Set realistic goals. Okay. Now you may ask, what is realistic? What is realistic? Well, what I want to suggest is the step-by-step is realistic. So where you are, what is the next step? If you can't start a conversation with a girl, don't say, well, my next step is to get one-night standards every single night. Okay? Just your next step is to start talking with women, dude. Not getting one-night stands, and just don't fall for marketing, okay? Start very small, something your present reality can comprehend. So if you never brought a girl home, don't start with, okay, the next thing I want to do is bring a girl home. You can be inspired by that, okay? You can be inspired by that and say, I want to come to a point where I can bring a girl home. But then say, okay, what's the next step? What's the first step towards it? Well, probably it's for me to be able to go out and start a conversation. The first time I went to the gym, I saw these big guys lifting these powerful weights or heavy weights, and I was like, oh, holy shit, this is really interesting. I want to do that too. So as I approached the bench, I saw that, well, I can't really handle a 100-pound bench, or 200-pound bench, or even a 50-pound bench. I had to start really, really small. And in fitness, there's an expression called lift a pencil. Start by lifting a pencil. Start by something that you can do. Start by lifting 5 pounds, and then go to 10 pounds and 15 and 20, and soon you will be at 200 pounds. So your dream can be, I want to be like those guys who lift 200 pounds or whatever, but you got to start at where you are at this moment. So lift a pencil and keep going. Do not look up to any big names or gurus out there and compare your present situation with them. This is really, really important, because you may go on, online on videos and stuff, and you say, oh man, he does it so effortlessly. Why can I be like him? Don't do that. Just don't compare yourself to them, because here's what you need to know. Every master was once a disaster. Man, if I could show you videos and tapes of me when I was, when I was starting out, and how I was trembling when I approached a girl, and how she rejected me, and how she, left, and I was like, pissing my pants there. You couldn't even believe it. So understand that every master was once a disaster. Nobody starts at the top, neither have you. So just get that in your head and start small. Okay, set realistic goals. You'll get there, I promise. Here's something I want to introduce you. It's called the 5 stages of mastery. It's something I came up with, the genius of me, of course. But it's like a 5-stage progression of where every one of us starts at anything, really, and then we move up the ladder. So stage number 1 is sucking at it. So being really bad at whatever we do. When we start, let's say you started riding a bicycle, right? First we suck at it, because we get on the bicycle and we fall. And then we get up again on the bicycle, we fall. Okay, so we suck at it. And many times we need training wheels, right, to get used to it. But we just suck at it. Now stage number 2 is, after you suck, is you become adequate. You become okay, right? You're not good yet, but you're okay. You don't fall as much from the bicycle. You're kind of, okay, you can hold your balance. You're kind of wobbling on the bicycle, but you're moving, right? So you're okay. Now the 3rd stage is, then you're good, right? People can see you and they're like, oh, he's really good on his bicycle. He can drive his bicycle really, really cool. And then you have the stage 4, which is you're excellent. And people just like, admire you. When you see race drivers on bicycles, right? There's like, wow, what they're doing is just amazing. Well, understand that they sucked at it just like you did, and then they went through these 4 stages. Now there's a 5th stage, which is keep getting better. This never ends. You choose when enough is enough. Okay, you choose when enough is enough. So what is your enough? What is your enough? What is the level of good enoughness that you want to come to? If we go back to the example of the bicycle and the 5 stages, it's like you suck at maybe approaching girls, or you suck at meeting women, but then you gotta, let's go back, right? You gotta go to being adequate. You gotta stick to it, to being, until you're adequate in it. And then you will become good at some point, and guys will see you and say, wow, you're pretty good. You can start a conversation, you can keep a conversation, you get that girl's number, you will become known as the guy who's good with girls. Then you'll become excellent, like you'll be the world master at approaching women, meeting them, and then you will keep getting better. But you will set your own good enough is good enough. Okay, there comes a point where you say, hey, I have success with women that I want. If I go out, I'm going to be able to keep a conversation going with the girl. I'll get her number, I'll get a date. I trust myself now. I'm okay the way I am. I'm satisfied, right? So I see some guys, they have these goals, almost unattainable. Like, I want to be the world-class pickup artist. I just want to devote my entire life to pickup artistry. I just want to be this amazing pickup artist. And when they do that, they get like a bit too committed and they forget their life. Understand that this is just a part of your life. You want to master it. You want to become good at this. But at some point, you just want to say, hey, it's enough. So do you want to be the ultimate pickup artist, or do you want just to be free to talk to a girl that you really like? So set your outcome, because this is a point where you want to call it a day. So there is a point in this journey where you will call it a day. You will say, yes, I am, enough is enough. I've mastered what I wanted to master. I'm done. Goodbye, right? So let's talk about your first enemy. So it starts with F, it goes with E, follows A, and then ends with R. Fear. Fear is your first enemy because fear is with you all the time. You want to start a conversation with a girl, keep it going, you want to create attraction, you want to kiss her for the first time. There's always like an underlying line of fear. Now there's two ways of looking at fear. You can see it as your greatest enemy, or you can see it as your guide that is showing you which way to go. It's like a signpost. Okay, I'm afraid of this. This is where I should go. Oh, I'm afraid of starting a conversation with the girl. This is where I should go. Oh, I'm afraid of, keeping the conversation going after we get started. This is where I should go. So use fear as your guideline, as something that's like, this is something I have an interest. Face your fear, follow it, step into it. Do not run away from it. Because without tackling fear, you will accomplish nothing. Now, there are 3 levels to getting success in this area. I know we're getting deeper into this, but stay with me. There are 3 levels to getting success in women and dating. Level number 1 is the struggle level. This is the level where you will struggle with approach anxiety, with, your mind is going to be your enemy. It's going to be pressing you. You'll want to quit, right? Now, level 2 is after you pass that mind and everything is going to be learning. So literally, the emotions of approach anxiety will pass. The mind won't try to stop you anymore from approaching a girl, from starting a conversation. You'll kind of fly. You'll get to the, like planes, right? When they start, when they take off the ground, that's where they use up most of their energy. But once they come to a cruising altitude, then they just fly, right? And you're going to go into cruising altitude to learn. So these are the skill part. Okay, I started a conversation with her, but this is what happened. What should I do? And then you go back to inner game. It's like, okay, I haven't dealt with something. So there's going to be a lot of learning. And then eventually you'll come to the lifestyle point, which is, okay, now I have the lifestyle that I want. So let me go deeper into each one of these levels. So level number 1 is the struggle. As I said, the struggle is the part where you are getting over yourself. You're getting over your fears, your limitations, your beliefs. Your entire world will clash. Who you are now versus who you want to be. There's going to be, talk in your head like, I don't deserve this. This is not me. I don't feel like doing this. I shouldn't be doing this. You will feel an immense pull back. So your world 1 is going to try to pull you back. You will experience crisis and the point of I want to quit. Or even, your mind is going to be very good at distracting you and be like, well, yeah, I kind of don't want this anymore, So your biggest threat in this stage, in the stage of struggle, is quitting. Just stopping the process. No matter how hard the process gets or how confused you get, I want to ask you not to quit. Never quit. Just keep going. Make slow progress, like a snail. Okay, just very, very slow, itty-bitty progress, but day by day, you will win. You will come to the next stage. I promise you this. I went through this. All of my students went through this. You will go through this as well. Now, your biggest ally in this phase, in this level, is persistence. It's just persisting, keeping it going. So most guys quit here, understand, hey, maybe you'll be one of those statistics. I don't know. Because their world 1 wins over them and they give in to the destiny of I'm just not cut out for this. Have you ever experienced this in anything? Oh, I'm just not cut out for this. I'm just not cut out for this whole women thing. I was not cut out for this whole women thing, but I just persisted and eventually I've become good with women. I've reached my good enough stage. No matter what happens, keep going. You will get there. Okay? Keep going. Now, level 2, after you deal with the struggle, is the learning phase. Now, in this level, you will feel released from the world one. It's going to be like detachment. Like, so when a rocket goes towards the moon, right, and it wants to penetrate the orbit, it starts shaking and oscillating a lot. But then there comes a point where it escapes the gravity of the Earth. It penetrates the orbit. It's called escape velocity, and then it's just like detaches all that, fuel and all that baggage that it's carrying with it. So you will feel released. You will feel detached from this as well. It will be easy for you to start conversations. Anxiety and fears will be easy for you. Your mind will now be clear to learn the skill or the how to. Okay, so it's going to be like, okay, I can start a conversation. Now it's like learning how to start that conversation. Now, this process is fast if you implement massive action. This learning phase can actually be pretty short. It can be like a couple of weeks, literally, if you apply massive action. The hard part is the struggle, where it's like you're dealing with the mind and the fear and the anxiety and everything. But now it's like, just, okay, let me just fly. This is a short window where you need to jump through it and apply massive action. Now, your enemy at this stage is complacency, or feeling like you've done enough. Okay, now I can start a conversation with the girl. I don't know how to bring it to the next level, but that's fine. I've kind of struggled my way through. So complacency is kind of like, yeah, okay. Now, your biggest ally is sticking to it. So keeping it going, continuing the process of learning, never stopping. So focus on the skill in this phase. Analyze your every interaction, and I would recommend you use these two questions. Number one, what did I do right? Okay, what did I do right in this situation? So after every interaction, ask yourself, what did I do right? I started a conversation. Okay, what did I do right? Well, I commented on her dress. I asked her a question about what she does, and then I asked an open-ended question, right? So analyze what you did right. Then the second point is, ask yourself, what could I have done differently? So if I could do it again, what could I have done differently? What are the things that I could have done differently? Well, when I asked her about her work, I could have teased her a little bit. Maybe I could have, made a joke there and, kind of made a push-pull there maybe. So as you're asking yourself these two questions, you're getting better and better at this, and you're building the skill. Stay consistent, as I said. Go out and talk to women regularly because you will feel a strong pull towards, I don't feel like it. I don't feel like it. It's just going to be like, yeah, well, I kind of know what to do, so why should I do it? This is really, in this stage, it requires discipline. The first stage was a challenge. It's like do or die. This one is like, I'm kind of tired. I'd rather watch a movie, right? Well, anyhow, no matter what, stay at it. Don't quit. So level 3 is then the lifestyle, is the playboy, right? So after you went through the struggle and learning, you've stayed consistent and built a skill. Now you will experience a shift in lifestyle. Whatever you wanted to have with women, at this point you will have. You will have the kind of girls that you always wanted. You will have the knowing that you did it and you weren't just lucky. And once you come to level 3, it's very hard, if not impossible, to go back to level 1 or level 2. You're kind of solid, So world 2 will become your reality. The world 2 that we talked about in the beginning. You will have regular dates. You won't even remember how it felt not to have success with women. It's just going to be a distant memory in the past. It's not going to be something that you think about anymore. Women will be part of your reality. And as you grow, the quality of women will also grow. Okay, so where to start? Let's wrap this up together. Where to go from here? Well, first, get an overall idea of how this would work. Okay, how this whole thing, becoming good with women, would work. Now you've kind of learned what is in front of you, what to expect. So this is an overall idea of how this would work. Step number 2 is choose a mentor or a teacher that you resonate most, not one that is most famous or is most recommended or recognized, okay? Often these teachers are not in it anymore, they have different motives and reasons. So at this stage, choose one that fits you, okay? That you can resonate, that you can, kind of say, yeah, this guy sounds, this guy's fit for me. I can connect with him. Then choose your first challenge. What are you struggling first with? Is it approach anxiety? Is it starting conversations, keeping the conversation going? What is it? Choose your first challenge. Then step into struggle. Don't run away from the struggle. It's going to take some time so you get that mind and fear and anxiety handled. And then design a simple plan of action. For example, ask yourself, what will I do on a consistent basis? Like for example, you can say being where women are for 20 minutes each day. This is an action step that you can do. You need something that will be consistent. I will talk more about this later, but you need something that will be consistent in your life. Maybe every day, every second day, or what have you. Remember the 4 challenges. There are 4 steps standing in the way of you being good with women. Starting a conversation, keeping the conversation going, creating attraction, and leading to the next level. So what is your first challenge? If you don't know, go out and start a conversation with 3 different girls. If you can't do it, you have just found your first challenge, which is starting conversations. If you can do this, notice if it's easy for you to keep a conversation going. And if it's not, then you have just found your second challenge. So step number 1, open your calendar, schedule 20 to 30 minutes each day or every second day where you'll go where women are. Now these could be malls, coffee shops, courses, meetups, whatever you fancy. Now you won't find a girl on your laptop, at least not the kind that you want, probably. Here's something really important. Stop watching any kind of porn. This objectifies women too much in your head. You won't be able to make any real connection. If you're addicted to it, deal with it because that is a problem also in the world. I would recommend a really cool resource. It's called K9 Blocker. Install it on your computer. Put email and password and forget about it, and you won't have access to those sites anymore. Step number 2 is write down your first challenge right now. Look at the 4 steps again and see where you struggle first. Make a plan of action for overcoming your first challenge. And then, for example, approaching women. I will go through the approach anxiety cure. I will spend each day 20 minutes outside, actively focusing, starting conversations with women, right? So make a plan of action for overcoming your first challenge. So how to know if you're on track? Okay, these are some green light benchmarks. If you're out there and you're talking to women on a regular basis, so a minimum of 3 times per week, you are on track. Remember, doing the same thing will bring you the same result. You need to learn from your interactions with women and keep changing your approach. Student who did 1,000 approaches, but every approach was the same. I had a guy who was, he was a student of mine, and well, he actually started as a student of mine, but he had this mentality of just going at it. I will approach 1,000 girls and I will get good at this. Well, no, because he approached 1,000 girls in the same manner. He never learned from his experience. I don't think I've approached 1,000 women. I've approached a lot of women, but I don't think I've approached 1,000 women. I don't have to, because I've just used the approaches that I did have, and I used the 2 questions analysis. What did I do right? What would I do differently? So here's how to know that you're not on track. You spend 80% of your time watching videos or reading books. You feel like you want to accumulate all the knowledge before diving in. You're not talking to any women. You're ignoring the things stopping you from actually talking with women, like limiting beliefs, fears, feeling like you're not good enough, like you don't have permission to go out, right? If you're talking to women, you don't analyze the right way, but you either beat yourself up about the approach and how you didn't do good, or you don't think about it at all. So these are some green light and red light benchmarks to know if you're on track or not. I want to conclude with a free resource. I prepared Approach Academy free mini course for you, where I will teach you how to eliminate your approach anxiety. I will give you the basics of starting and keeping a conversation with a girl. I'll show you that you want to be more than just a, how to show her that you want to be more than just a friend with her. And I'll also teach you how to ask for her number. I'll give you a couple of real good number closes, like rejection proof number close and a direct number close. So if you want to get the free resources, go to volcanoconfidence.com/approach academy. So volcanoconfidence.com/approach academy, or click the link below this video, and you can go to that site immediately. So it's free. I've opened it up. It's my way of saying welcome to the community, and making sure that you get on the right track. This was Coach Omir. I hope you enjoyed this guide. It was kind of substantial, I admit, but this is a long process. This is a long journey, and I felt like you guys need this. You guys are in need to get something like this out there, somebody who will explain to you the entire process. So I hope you enjoyed it. I wish you best of luck, and go to the Approach Academy free course to get started. Good luck.